G'day Bomber fans, just like that another season comes to an end. The Essendon AFLW side have played their last game of 2025 and the good news is we got a win out of it. The Bombers have snapped an 8-game losing streak to play party poopers and end Sydney's season. Sydney needed a win from this game to play finals. If they got a win they would have played finals and we didn't let them get one. So yeah, it wasn't a pretty game. It was yet again affected by really treacherous weather, but we ended the year on a high. Finally, we were able to sing the song for one last time, so let's chat about it. Leave your votes and the role play in the comments for one last time. Quarter by quarter recap. So this game, as I said, was affected by the weather. It was not only wet and scrappy and chaotic, a really bad weather to play footy in, but it was also delayed. The game started half an hour late because of a storm in the area, so that shows you what the conditions were like, and so does the score. It was 2-0 at quarter time. Essendon had all the play. The ball was living inside our forward half. We were locking it in there, not letting it out. 10 minutes in, it was 12 inside 50s to 1. We were doing everything except putting scores on the board. The second, it was more of the same, really. The Swans did manage to steady and reduce the amount of territory dominance that we had, but they still weren't able to get anything going their way. This quarter was almost exclusively played in between the arcs and the middle of the ground, and neither team could really get any good looks. And again, it shows on the scoreboard. The Swans were lucky to even get a point. They snuck one in late, whereas we kicked a really important goal thanks to our skipper, Bonnie Toogood. She hasn't had her kicking boots on lately, but on a tight angle, she steered through a crucial goal that gave us a handy halftime lead of 7 points. A big lead in a game this low scoring. The third was a pretty forgettable quarter in the end, but an important one to the result because, the Premiership quarter always is, but Sydney, the team trailing, only managed to reduce the lead by 1 point. They missed a set shot in the opening minutes of the quarter, and it looked like they would keep the ball down their end a lot, put us under the pump, but our backline always had the answers, and at the final break of the season, we led by 6 points. And the final quarter, 25 seconds in, Sophie Alexander wheels onto her right boot, puts through the second goal of the game for the Bombers, and in general, all of a sudden, we've got a 2-goal lead, and life looks very difficult for the Swannies. To their credit, they came hard, they threw a lot at us, they had 4 shots at goal for the quarter, but only one of them was a major from young Zippy Fish, and when the siren sounded, we were the winners. It was 14-11, a proper slog of a game. It really wasn't pretty. The last quarter, though, was entertaining. That was fun footy, given the context and how close it was. So, yeah, what happened? What on earth was this turnaround for the Bombers? Was this a case of the Swans bottling a golden opportunity and missing finals, or were we just the wrong team for them to be playing? Yeah, I mean, we got to look at some of the massive outs that we had for this game to kind of paint a picture, because going into it, I didn't think we were a chance, but we had some big injury concerns throughout the year, really. Not only were we missing players like Walker and Maddie Gay before the game and others, but we also lost Brooke Brown and Maddie Prasparkas before the first siren as well. So we had one of our poorest lineups for the year out there. We made some debutantes. Bailey Hunt and Lucy Thompson came into the side, both top-up players, I believe. So we were inexperienced and young, but I think that kind of worked in a game like this a little bit, because it was mostly about who had the most energy and the most heart. When games are wet and slippery, structure kind of gets thrown out the window. I think we failed a bit in terms of our structure and system this year, but for a game this affected by weather, maybe it suited us. I don't know, it's hard to say, but whatever happened, you got to look at Sydney in this a bit and be confused by what went wrong there. You know, we've been just about the poorest team on form in the comp in the last 2 months. Before this, we'd lost 8 games in a row against much worse teams quite often. Sydney were fresh off beating the Eagles, a game that to many ensured finals for them, because West Coast, I mean, through this upset in this game, Essendon and Sydney, they're the team playing finals. So Sydney, to many, did all the work they needed to do last week, beating the Eagles, the team that they had to beat to leapfrog, and then, yeah, they slip up against the Bombers at home, bottom 4 team before this game started. So, yeah, I guess the main story out of this game is Sydney, especially because they came so hard so late in the match. They had opportunities to get the win. I think the inside 50 count at half-time, or quarter time, it was 17 for Essendon, and I think 3 or 4 for Sydney. By the end, that's reversed, and Sydney have more. And it was 15 inside 50s to 2 in the last quarter in favour of the Swans, and all they could manage was a goal and 3 points. That last quarter was genuinely good to watch. It was really tight and close with both teams going at it proper hard. But in the end, you got to say we deserved the win. We set ourselves up in the first 3 quarters. We had a score on the board. We were up against it late, but we did the work required earlier to get over the line. But yeah, I guess all we really got to say is well done to the girls. We haven't had much to celebrate in the last few weeks. The season started with a lot of promise. We failed quite a few tests that came our way. But this game, we were were the heavy underdogs in. I really don't think we should have won this game before it, given the context and where both teams were. But it was good to see them celebrate and end the year on a high. We beat a good team. We probably made friends with West Coast in the process. That's the team celebrating the most. That they're the team who get to leapfrog Sydney to play finals now. I don't think they would have expected that, West Coast, but I guess that's why you can't really, take any team for granted in this competition. On their day, any team can come out and sniff a win, even without Matty Gay and Prespakis and other important players. We still got the job done, which is great. It doesn't hide from some of the, issues with the team that need fixing next year. We hope it doesn't paper over the cracks for the list management team, because we're still, we're quite low down on the ladder, and I think bottom 4, I believe. I'm filming this before Collingwood play Brisbane, but I'm assuming the Lions win that. But yeah, it's not where you want to be. Games like this prove that we still, do have a good enough list or talent on the list to win tough games of footy. We just got to find ways to do it more often next year. So, apologies, Sydney. Tough way to end the year for that team. You're welcome, West Coast. And for Essendon, well done on the win, but the hard work really starts now to improve for 2026. It's good to end on a high, but we can't have another season like that again next year. Votes for this week. I'll show you the tally from last week in a second, because we do have 2 confirmed winners of awards, despite your votes for this game not being tallied up yet. It saves me having to do another video, I guess. But 1 vote to Bonnie Toogood. I not only thought she played really well behind the footy when she was there, but I thought her goal was crucial to us winning the game. 2 votes to Steph Kane, the other co-captain. Another really solid performance. She's finished the year really well in the guts, but 3 votes to Georgia Nanscorn yet again. She was unreal. 19 touches, not her most prolific game, but 18 tackles. That is crazy. And there's also that game-saving mark on the defensive flank in the dying seconds. There were some huge efforts. She was incredible. She deservedly gets the 3 votes. The role player is yet again Chloe Adams. She came off last week with a broken nose, I think. Comes back this week. She's got her ankle strapped up. Her calf gets looked at, but she played on and ended up getting 16 touches and 8 tackles. Just another great role player performance from young Chloe Adams. And the tally after these votes have been counted. Yours haven't yet again. Leave them in anyway, but they won't have an impact on the overall result, because Georgia Nanscorn has stormed home to win the Everything Essendon Player of the Year award. It wasn't even close. She's got 39 votes, 15 ahead of Maddie Prespakis, likely to be more given the fact that Prespakis didn't play. Gaylor's in 3rd place, unable to be changed as well. She's 4 ahead of Toogood, and then you've got Steph Kane, Bannister, Georgia Clark, and Log James City with Adams, Alexander, and Steph Wales. But yeah, massive congratulations to Georgia Nanscorn. This is, again, the best moment in her career. The players dream of this award, and she's got to win it 2 years in a row, much like Zach Merritt. I believe she will also request a trade to Hawthorn at the end of the year. The Role Player of the Year award, the inaugural Role Player of the Year award for the women's, goes to Chloe Adams. Deservedly so. She cracked in every week, put her body on the line for the club, and just kept getting up to do the same, even if she was battered and bruised. She was great to watch this year. It was an absolute joy. So she wins the Old Gold Player of the Year, of course, named after the friendly giant, and our role player this year, Todd Goldstein. Both these guys are deserved winners of this award. But that's that. The women's season's done. It came and went super fast. It was a bit of a roller coaster. It started well, ended maybe poorly, but it's all over now. Cheers for watching, guys. Not as many of you for these videos, and honestly, the desire to pump them up when the results were so poor was not there as much as it was when we were getting wins on the board early in the year. Overall, a pretty bad season for Essendon on field for both our major clubs, so hopefully things look up and we improve next year. I'll still cover the AFLW off-season and wrap up what movements we make with the list, but cheers for watching, and cheers for the support for those who stuck around for these videos. Cheers, guys. Like, subscribe, and go Bombers.